Let's talk about exterior angles. So we just talked about interior angles of a triangle and that they all add up to 180 degrees. Now let's take a look at the exterior angles. So we're going to start to think about the relationships between these angles, and maybe that can help us figure out how exterior angles are related to the angles inside of the triangle. So if we were to look at this and we were trying to figure out what is the value of y, well, we have a triangle and we have two of those angle measures already, which means we can pretty easily find the angle measure of y. That means that we have 60 degrees so far and 58. How much more do we need to get to 180? So we have 60 and 58 so far. That means we have 118 plus what equals 180? If you don't like it this way, remember you could subtract too. You could do 180 minus 60 minus 58. I just like to do it this way, thinking about how much more we need. That must mean that we need 62 more, which means that y is 62 degrees. So the value of y is 62 degrees. What is the relationship between the measure of angle ACB, right here, and the measure of angle ABC plus the measure of angle BAC, so these two angles together? What's the relationship between them? Well, we know that together,
I couldn't hear what you said.
they're going to add up to 180. So that means that they're supplementary. Together, they're supplementary, right? 58 plus the combination of 62 and 60 is going to equal 180. What's the relationship between the measure of angle ACB, which is the one in orange, and the measure of angle ACD? Well, those are a linear pair, right? So those are also supplementary. So what do you remember about if we have two things supplementary to the same angle? That must mean that these two things are equal. Remember that from an earlier chapter? If we have ACB is supplementary to ACD, and ACB is also supplementary to the measure of angle ABC plus the measure of angle BAC, also known as the opposite sides, the opposite angles, then that must mean that those two things I highlighted in orange are equal. And that's what our exterior angle theorem tells us. The exterior angle theorem tells us that the measure of an exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of the measures of the two non-adjacent interior angles. So just like this picture is showing us, this GIF, showing us that no matter how much we move these angles around, that the sum of the two opposite angles is going to be the same as the exterior angle across from them. So in this case, C plus D will always equal A, no matter what we do. All right, so let's figure out, what does this mean? So in this example, it wants you to find the measure of angle 3. Well, we just talked about how the exterior angle is equal to the sum of the measures of the two non-adjacent interior angles. I think an easier way to phrase this is the opposite angles in that triangle. So 3 is going to be equal to the sum of the opposite angles, the angles all the way across from that in that triangle. So that means that the measure of angle 3 equals 125 plus 30, which equals 155 degrees. All right, let's do one that's a little bit trickier. We know from the exterior angle theorem that the exterior angle is equal to the sum of the two opposite angles that are on the interior of the triangle. So that means that 2x minus 5 is equal to x plus 70. All right, let's solve for x. I'm going to move x over, take it away from both sides. Now I have x minus 5 equals 70, so x equals 75.